Hi, this is Ms. TechVite, and here we have the Samsung Galaxy S2 for Virgin Mobile USA. Specs for the phone is Ice Cream Sandwich 4.0.4. The screen is a 4.5-inch Super AMOLED 480 by 800 pixels at a 240 dpi. The processor is a 1.2 GHz dual-core Exynos. RAM is 1 GB, and the ROM is 16 GB, and we'll go over how that's partitioned later. 3G, 4G WiMAX, a microSD card slot that holds up to 32 GB. Wi-Fi BGN, Bluetooth 3.0. The battery is an 1800 mAh, has an 8 megapixel camera on the rear and a 2 megapixel camera on the front. So you go into settings and security, and from there you'll be able to set up your face unlock. The phone does do screen capture, and to do that you need to hold the power button and the home button at the same time, and it's much easier to do this if it's on a flat surface, and it takes a few times to get used to it. Call quality for the phone was okay. Here we have network signal info by KAIBITS. In previous testings, I have not seen a steady stream across without any signal drop. There's always been a little fluctuation. Let's go ahead and go around the phone. Down here on the bottom of the phone, we have the micro USB port. To the right of the phone, we have the power lock button. To the top of the phone, we have the 3.5 headphone jack. To the left of the phone, we have the volume up and down rocker, 8 megapixel camera on the back, and on the bottom we have the external speaker. Under the battery cover is the 1800 mAh battery, micro SD card slot. And putting the battery cover back on, you need to align those tabs first, and then snap the back on. Within the apps, you do have a photo editor that comes with the phone, as well as the video maker, and you can select themes. With the video recording, you can record up to 1080, but with the 1080, you also cannot zoom in and out. You have to drop it down. With the 1080, I was able to record at 30 frames per second. So the phone has an 8 megapixel camera. Let's go over settings. I'll just scroll through and let you read. It does have touch focus. Here's some examples of photos and videos for this phone. So let's go over speaker sound with a video off of YouTube. And first off, it is a very loud speaker, a little bit boxy for me. And also, if you cover the back speaker at all, even if your hand is covering it, it muffles it quite a bit. And I'll give you an example of that as well. With the headphone jack, it was extremely loud, very nice sound. So the video that we have here is Savage Garden, I Want You. So that's something to note as well, on the speaker being covered up and muffling your incoming call sound. So the phone is a 16 gigabyte ROM, but it's partitioned off. You get 1.97 gigabytes for your applications, and then 11.49 gigabytes for storage of pictures, audio downloads, miscellaneous files. And then you also have the micro SD card slot that you could put up to a 32 gigabyte card in. Activating motion in the settings will allow the tilt and zoom, pan to edit, double tap for voice commands, and turn over to mute. So I'll show you the panning shortcuts, but with the motion, just hold it and move it so you're tilting side to side. So with the tilt to zoom, when activated, you want to place 2 fingers on the screen, and with tilting you can zoom it in and out. So with the tilt to zoom, it only works for the stock browser. And you want to place 2 fingers on the screen, and when you tilt it, it zooms in and out. Double tap, do the pinch zoom. Let's go ahead and zoom in here for text clarity. The 4.5-inch AMOLED screen is Gorilla Glass, and here on the settings in the display it says it'll adjust the LCD power to save battery, but this is an AMOLED screen which has great black colors and at the expense of the battery life. So what it really does on this setting is it reduces the color fidelity and you lose the shadow details. Also, auto adjust brightness and auto adjust screen power are 2 different things. I've not seen the yellow tint that happens on other Galaxy AMOLED screens. If you want to know more about that, I've left a link under the video about the yellow tinting that has happened in the past. Battery for this phone is decent to poor and depends on how you use your phone, the apps, widgets, and the power settings, especially with the screen. With a widget you can go in here and you can also use the power saving mode. With Samsung All Share, you can share wirelessly music, photos, and videos. So here's an example of the All Share. Now I had to install the software on my PC and then I went ahead and linked the remote devices. So here on my computer I can click it on the computer or I can go in and share it directly. Select the device and then it will start playing on the other device. So the only real issue that I had with the phone was what's called the TW launcher error, and I'm really surprised to see that it's happening still, that they haven't updated or fixed the issue. And I couldn't get into the phone's system settings to try to clear the TW launcher data, which is one thing that you can do. If you can get into the settings and you're having that error, you go and you clear the data for that. And the TW launcher, well, that's just the Samsung launcher that they put in. The other thing to do is to go in and put a third-party home screen launcher in. And when you do that, when you hit the home button, you'll be able to select, and here you can see that it has the ice cream sandwich launcher, and that's the third-party one that I put in. And then there's the TW launcher. I'll just show you between. And the ice cream sandwich. But for me, I couldn't get into the settings at all, and I had to pull the battery several times and reboot, and finally it started working. And if all that were to fail as well, then the last resort would be a hard reset. The TW launcher is the Samsung's launcher for the phone, and it gets corrupt and stops working. Some say this can be recreated by adding calendar widgets. I don't know exactly what caused my TW launcher issue. When that happened, I was actually just booting up the phone. Let's go ahead and do a hard reset. You would do a hard reset if you're having issues with the phone, and it usually can clear up most issues. So to get into the recovery mode, you want to go ahead and hold the volume up button and then the power button. And once you see the Samsung logo, go ahead and release. And then you're going to go into the recovery mode. You want to navigate volume up and down, and you select with the power button. GPS lock was really fast. If you're having trouble connecting your phone to the computer via USB, try using the cable that came with your phone. I had that issue when I was trying to use a USB cable that was already plugged into my computer that came with another phone. And the only thing that it would show was charging, so I had to use the Samsung cable that came with the phone, and everything worked just fine. Okay, let's go ahead and run Quadrant standard. And I'm going to fast forward a little bit. Okay, let's go ahead and zoom in. The total is 4,250, the CPU is 5,737, the memory is 3,191, the I/O is 9,303, the 2D is 980, and the 3D is 2,041. In conclusion, despite some of the issues that I came across, for Virgin Mobile, out of the box, this has to be the nicest phone that they have. And if you're wondering if it's worth the price, well, that's up to you.